It's time for the news review segment. We get to have a conversation with our guests. We ask them relevant questions. They bring varying perspectives to the various topical issues that we've selected. And we invite you to join us with your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. Let us know what you make of the stories themselves or the issues themselves and what you think about the submissions of our guests. Do you agree? Do you not agree? What is your own position? Share with us. Let us know what you think. Now, the issue of this price floor strategy or initiative, which is policy, which is being implemented by the NPA, and the call for, if you like, the cancellation or removal of this price floor mechanism has generated a lot of conversation, if like controversy. Yesterday, Star Oil suspended its membership from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, after a meeting. And a number of stories have come out from there. So I'm going to take you online. I'm reading from citynewsroom.com, which story says, COMAC to engage Star Oil after membership suspension. COMAC to engage Star Oil after membership suspension. But even before that, let me bring you the story on Star Oil withdrawing its membership. Okay, let's find the reasons why Star Oil has withdrawn its membership, and then we go on to what COMAC is saying in response or in reaction to this withdrawal of that membership. So let's go to ChannelOneNewsOnline.com. Star Oil withdraws membership from COMAC over fuel price floor dispute. Star Oil withdraws membership from COMAC over fuel price floor dispute. Story by Patricia Boache, and it reads, Star Oil Limited has suspended its membership in the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, with immediate and indefinite effect, citing deep disagreements over the Chamber's handling of the petroleum price floor debate. The decision, announced in a formal communication to COMAC on Wednesday, January 21, marks a sharp rupture in what Star Oil described as a long-standing and influential relationship with the industry body. Star Oil said the move followed, quote, careful deliberation, end quote, stressing that it has historically played an active role in COMAC's affairs and remains the Chamber's largest financial contributor, having consistently supported its operations and advocacy work. According to the company, its participation in COMAC was premised on the expectation that the chamber would function as a balanced platform that fairly represents the collective interests of its members while allowing space for divergent but constructive views on policy and regulatory matters. However, Star Oil said recent developments have raised serious concerns about whether that principle is still being upheld. The immediate trigger for the suspension is COMAC's handling of public discussions around the petroleum price floor, a long-running and contentious regulatory issue within Ghana's downstream petroleum sector. So if you go online, ChannelOneNewsOnline.com, you get the details of the story and more. But let me take a quick reaction from COMAC from citynewsroom.com. COMAC to engage Star Oil after membership suspension. COMAC to engage Star Oil after membership suspension. The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, has disclosed its intention to engage Star Oil Limited in an effort to resolve differences and restore dialogue after the oil marketing company suspended its membership of the chamber. According to them, the board led by its chairman has already activated internal procedures aimed at engaging Star Oil and encouraging the company to reconsider its decision. He explained that the board exists precisely to ensure that industry-wide decisions are reached through consultation rather than unilateral action. Now, speaking on Eyewitness News on City 97.3 on Wednesday, January 21, COMAC's Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Riverson Opon, said the chamber is taking steps to reopen discussions with Star Oil, stressing that divergent positions on industry issues do not make the parties adversaries. All right, so that's the situation regarding the fuel price floor debate and the suspension of Star Oil's membership with immediate and indefinite effect. and the reaction from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, saying that they would engage the oil marketing company, that's Star Oil Limited, on the way forward, and of course, reining them back into the association. Let me say good morning to Elvis Dako. He's the editor of the News Center newspaper, as well as the news web portal, newscenter.com. Elvis, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
I hope you're well.
I'm good, yourselves?
I'm good. This issue of fuel price floor and the call for its removal by the Star Oil Limited has resulted in the company suspending its membership from the industry body, that's COMAC. But earlier in the week, we saw the debates between Star Oil and GOIL, and the concerns raised on how a removal will affect pricing in the downstream petroleum sector and all. What is your position on this? And do you think Star Oil should have maybe been a little more patient with COMAC and then jaw further instead of withdrawing or suspending its membership?
Thank you for the opportunity. I always say that when we say as a country we have opted for a free market economy, we don't seem to have a clear understanding of what we think a free market economy should be. The argument we are having in Ghana today, it's not happening in the United States of America, right?
No.
It's not happening in the UK, right? But they are all selling fuel like us, right? And they all let the market forces determine the price on the market. Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting. The point is that, yes, we want to do a free market economy, but the truth also is that our markets are not as developed as the US and the advanced one that I've mentioned.
Yeah.
So sometimes there are certain areas that we are apprehensive, thinking that if we allow a complete free market economy policy to run on its own, sometimes the other side of it could hurt consumers.
Yeah.
And for that reason, we found all kinds of ways trying to protect consumers in one way or the other.
Yeah.
I don't think that what the Star Oil CEO said was wrong or it should even degenerate to this level.
Exactly.
The man just shared an opinion that imagine that there was no price floor. Probably his company could have been selling lower than what they are selling between 10 to 4 a.m., which is the night economy, to support 24 hours economy.
Yeah.
That was just a harmless comment he has made. And then the consumers, as usual, see some benefits there.
Yeah.
That if the person is saying that he can sell less than the amount, why should the price floor be a hindrance?
Yeah.
Then it turned into social media debate. So I'm surprised that the association and other people rather have become the main actors now. I believe that, you see, let's understand where we are coming from.
Right.
We used to have a petroleum system which had no regulation in terms of the downstream and all the rest. Then the NPA Act was promulgated to actually regulate the downstream petroleum sector, right? And when it was promulgated at that time, it's difficult to determine fuel prices because of market forces, what the world market price and all that. So by the act, the government actually at that time was actually able to subsidize fuel pricing. So if it comes at the determination that the price of fuel should be 10 cedis, and government, so 10 cedis is too high for the public, so government will absorb 3 cedis, so the fuel should be sold at 7 cedis. Then it is 7 cedis across board.
Yeah.
But it led to what you call forest under recoveries, because then losses will be incurred, which the government of Ghana has to pay.
True.
So until 2014-15, you always hear that the government owes BDC so much. It's because of the subsidy and the recovery cost. And the government realized that subsidizing fuel has become unsustainable because it's incurring so much loss to government. Meanwhile, those who are actually enjoying more are the rich people who have the big cars that guzzle fuel.
Yeah.
So when you subsidize, if you do that calculation, it benefits the rich than the poor. So the government in 2014 under Setekpe decided, look, why don't we do a full deregulation and make the consumer pay, so that when there is any benefit, the money can rather be used to do things that will benefit the ordinary person. So we deregulated the regime and said now consumers should pay fully for the price of fuel.
Right.
So consumers, since they have been paying the full price of fuel, but in the price build-up, is this tax margin called UPPF, which we, the people who buy the fuel, pay for, which is used to pay for the cost of transporting fuel to any part of Ghana.
Right.
So that we do not say that transporting fuel from here to Tongo, Germany is expensive. So the price of fuel there will be so higher, expensive compared to those who are in Accra. Because the seaport is in Tema. And therefore, if we should do that, people in Accra and Tema will be paying less. Whilst those in the rural areas, Zibila, Zaburungo, Wenchi, other places would have been very high for. So there was this margin, which a tax added to the fuel price, that money NPA takes in. And then when you transport your fuel, wherever you go to, the NPA have a calculation of determining the cost of transportation and they pay. So that we can have a relatively similar price of fuel across board. But as a result of the deregulation and the competition, now stations realize that, okay, if it is determined, which is the floor price, that this should be the lowest amount the fuel can be sold. Then this should be the highest amount you can be sold. This floor price is meant to protect the customer, so that the big guys in the system do not exploit the customer by selling at beyond certain high prices. So this floor price has been there for a while, and so you see that from one station to the other, there are small differences in the price of fuel. Okay, because of it's a deregulated regime and it's a free market, let people determine what they want to buy and all that. And this has been going on. And because of the post of the Star Oil CEO, which indicated that maybe they could have sold the fuel lower than what they are selling now in the night, not during the day. He was specific in the night to support the 24-hour economy. People are calling for the removal. You see, let's be very careful with everything we do. Because see, what will happen is that when you scrap the price floor, this is what is going to happen. The big guys who have the muscle can decide to sell at prices that will collapse most of their smaller competitors. Okay, and then when they all collapse and they are out of business, it may be left with only 3 or 4 players in the industry. And then after all the small ones collapse, the possibility, I'm not saying that will happen, but there is a possibility that now that all the small ones are out and there are only few ones, we may have a cartel where these bigger ones will now be pricing at the same amount. And that does not give the consumer that flexibility anymore. And so we should also be minded about that if we scrap the price floor, and one of the biggest effects is that most of the smaller OMCs, and most of them are also even in rural areas, may collapse. And if they collapse, and now the 3 or 4 that will survive now become like a cartel, how do we survive as consumers? And I want to draw the attention of the consumer to it, that even within this regulated regime, deregulated regime that we have with the price floor and everything, until recently, if you monitor across board, the 3 biggest players in the industry, Goil, Total, Shell, most at times their price is the same. Most at times that throughout, anybody should look at it for the past 5 or 10 years. Most at times the price of Goil, Total and Shell is the same. They ask yourself, in a free market economy, you say that those who have the muscle, who are bigger, they should rather be selling at a lower price. And the smaller ones who should be complaining about high overheads should be the ones should be selling higher. But it rather was the opposite, where the smaller ones, because they want to attract the customers, are rather selling lower than the big boys. And I said, really, this is a serious issue. And it's scrapping the floor price at this time. It's also dangerous in the sense that as we speak, we don't have a competition law. So if you scrap it and tomorrow what I just described, that you see Goil, Shell, and Total having the same price, and there's no competition law. How then do you regulate that? Okay, how then do you regulate that? Assuming that we scrap the price floor, and within 2 years, this left is only about 4 OMCs in the system, because they will beat down prices to collapse all the smaller ones so that they take over the market. And after that, they will even absorb the losses, because they know that when the smaller ones are gone, the whole market is up there, they can recover their losses. Okay? So if that happens, and then we have 4 left or 5 left, and their prices are now so similar, and then there's no competition law, and we have a deregulated petroleum market, the question then is, how then do you tell them that they are short-changing consumers or not? So you see, the discussion should be looked at from the various perspectives, including the ones I've mentioned. And as I said, I don't think that what Star Oil CEO suggested should have even gotten to this place. Though the ordinary consumer on social media say, then the government should scrap it. I think that all of us should also be educated to understand that we can scrap it today. Tomorrow, the same people will now come at government and say, why are you sitting down there for all these people to form a cartel and be charging a similar fee? You see, today, let's look at the transportation issue. And let's look at the pressure everybody is putting on government. That why is government sitting down there and truck drivers are doing? Why is the government going to tell the truck driver how much to charge? Because the government did not determine how much the cars are sold at the car ports. Okay? The government is not the one telling spare parts dealers how much they should sell their spare parts. So why all the business of the government tell the truck driver how much you should charge for transport fare? So let's not rush. I believe that maybe the reaction, I think the reaction of the chamber should have been measured. Probably they should have called the Star Oil CEO and say, look, this thing you have posted, we have read it. It has generated into this kind of public reaction from the public. It may create the impression as if other members of the chamber are short-changing Ghanaians. Can we have this discussion of the public space, and let's see how we can do it possibly? Probably if they have adopted that approach, I'm not sure that Star Oil would have been pulling out. But I think their response to the media, because maybe the media was calling them to find out this is what one of your members has said, what is your reaction? And then instead of them realize that that's not the time for them to speak in the media, but rather do a backdoor conversation. They also went out, and it's like they are going after Star Oil, one of their own. So for me, Star Oil is right to say they are suspending their membership, because if I'm a member of a group and I make a suggestion and public is interested in the suggestion, even if my association has a problem, I don't expect them to come after me in the public.
But couldn't you have used the association to
I didn't go after the association. No. You see, that's what I said. The man did not say that somebody is shorting somebody. No. He said, can you imagine that there was no price floor? And supporting the 24-hour economy in the night when most people are asleep, Star Oil could have sold their fuel a little lower than how they would have sold it later. It is just something he's saying, that this is something that they could have done to support a government policy. And this should rather have been a discussion for the chamber to say, okay, this is your idea of support to 24-hour economy, and this thing, how do you think we can make it possible? That's what I'm saying, that the man did not attack his association. He is looking at the government policy and looking at his company and thinking about how his company can contribute to that government policy. If that generates public interest and it's become a discussion, the chamber should rather invite him and say, look, we think what you have said, the public seems to be highly interested. In your suggestion, how do you think we can make this possible? And then have a discussion. But when because media calls you an association, and then you also jump into the media free, and I feel like I am being attacked by my own association, I'll also suspend my membership.
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Ako. Let's say good morning to Wanda Victor Kuto. He's a member of the National Executive Committee of the NDC. Council, good morning. Good to see you. Good morning. Then we have the Member of Parliament for Efia, the Honorable Isaac Boama Nyakun, also here. Honorable, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Should I add the council to it?
Oh, no, I have my junior council here, so
my senior the bar.
Oh, no, he also took over later from me as the SRC president,
We were
right?
discussing yesterday.
Great.
What?
Yesterday we were discussing you. I didn't know Ali Dawood. You are.
Oh, Ali, yeah, Ali was one of my. Oh, okay,
This-
okay.
you know,
Very
one
well,
member
very
of the
well.
board.
Well, we're looking at this matter of this floor price policy
Yeah.
in the downstream petroleum sector, the call for its removal and subsequent happenings leading to the suspension of its membership from the COMAC by Star Oil. And I want to pick quick thoughts from you. Let me start with you, Honorable. Your thoughts on this floor price policy.
All right, so
Should it stay or should it go?
good morning,
morning.
to our cherished viewers and listeners, and to Elvis, Wonder in the team. Happy New Year.
Happy New
This
Year
my
to you.
first
Yes,
appearance
this year, yeah.
2026. I think your team have done a yeoman's job over
Thank
the
you.
past year.
Yeah, thank you.
It's become one of the go-to listen to for informative and other things. So good job.
Thank you, thank you.
On this floor price policy and matters arising, I've listened to Elvis and his passion, amongst others. But you see, it's interesting at times when you find developments come this way, positively, like we are experiencing in terms of reduction in fuel prices.
Yeah.
And so this conversation has become very strong. Now, if you flip it to the other side, where prices had been rising and gets to some higher levels, would the conversation have still been the same? One would also try to find out what's been the policy rationale behind the implementation of this policy. Elvis, we are living in a country where if you don't regulate or put in place certain measures, some big players within the industry would come through this door seemingly to help the country in reducing prices. But at the end of the day, they will kill and collapse smaller entities or smaller companies. And then at the end of the day, come back again with a monopolistic approach and then deal with us as a people. As we speak now, if you go to the northern part of this country, how many Guel stations or Shell stations or Total stations do you find there? Because it doesn't look attractive to them to go and sell in those markets. But somebody, smaller companies, are interested in filling that gap for us as a people. And so if you are not careful and you don't, as a people, as a country, look into these things holistically and develop a mechanism that can protect those smaller businesses and even the country's own downstream petroleum, then we will be calling for some difficulty. Now, if you take the developments from Star Oil, they may have good intentions for the advocacy that their CEO also might have made. And then their industry COMAC also out of whatever means try to explain why they think that policy should be retained. Now, Star Oil is a part of the association. Okay, so whether Star Oil should have channeled
until yesterday.
Until yesterday. Oh, I think cool heads would finally prevail. Because they form a very critical stakeholder for the association. In fact, they are the biggest supporter or financier to the activities of COMAC. And I believe that this singular issue shouldn't be the reason for it, but it's just showing muscle, okay, showing COMAC that you can't have this, like US playing within NATO, okay, knowing that I have what it takes to control and support. And so if I say I want to take Greenland, and you people say you don't give me Greenland, then I'll be taken by. So it's part of the big boy language. But I want us to look at it from a holistic national perspective. And I believe that this price floor policy should be thoroughly interrogated. It can before us at some level within the Committee of Energy in Parliament. And I'm sure as we go back to Parliament, deeper engagement will be made in this. and then we find a more sustainable, I'm amenable to persuasive argument.
Right.
I would want to see numbers, different groups of people trying to argue for and against, but not for the short term, but for a longer sustainable term. And I think when we all have the benefits of those information, we can properly guide government in dealing with this price floor policy.
Well, Wanda, your thoughts?
Yeah. Good morning to my senior at the bar, Mr. Elvis, yourself, and our viewers.
True.
Basically, this is a very straightforward matter. I mean, when we talk about floor price, we are saying that it's the minimum price below which OMC cannot sell.
Cannot sell. Yeah.
I understand the current price, the floor price currently is 9 cedi 80 pesos. I mean, what is the purpose for floor price across the world? Basically, it's to maintain stability. Comparatively, you can compare it to, I think, the minimum wage that is set. The idea, for example, of having minimum wage is not to ensure that there's no abuse in the system. So even in the US, those who even work at the various, the informers, the warehouse and all of that, you can't go below 13. I understand that it's about $15 per hour.
Right.
Of course, it doesn't mean everybody takes $15 per hour. Some to take about $20 per hour, some even 25, some go as much as taking $35 per hour. But it's said such that there's stability. So the purpose for this floor price is to maintain stability. So if Star Oil says that, look, no, there's a possibility that they can even sell below that.
Yeah.
The question is, how will it affect other OMCs? Would they be competitive? Don't forget that Star Oil, like Senior said, they sell in volumes, high volume.
Yeah.
But will every company be able to sell at the quantity at which they sell? There was a time, sometime 2015, 2016, I had gone to Shime. It's one of the...
Where is this?
In the Angologa district. It's one of the remote areas there. At the time, even the road network was bad. My fuel got finished. Do you know that drum? That was the filling station there. The drum that you go and then they'll fetch
The
it.
wine, I think.
Yes.
The
Yes. But at that time, it was crucial for me. It was so important because I needed that fuel, that gallon, in order to move to town, to move towards Dabala, in order to buy, or move towards Angologa to fill the tank. That small filling station at Shime, would they be able to compete with Star Oil?
No.
Certainly not.
Clearly not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So government, that's why we have government, is to ensure stability, to kind of provide some framework within which all these OMC can work. Now, as to whether or not Star Oil have been treated properly or fairly, is another issue. For every association or organization, they have rules and regulations. In fact, if you are part of an association, before you can even seek a redress, I'm happy my senior is a former SRC president. If a member of the association has a problem and want to go to the court, the court will first refer you to go and exhaust the internal legal process of the SRC, of the association.
Yeah.
So the question is, has Star Oil, did they use the appropriate channel of communication? Even within the political parties, you've seen the NPP suspend party members and all of that because they probably didn't exhaust their internal mechanism. I'm sure likewise NDC in the past, if persons do not go by what we expect of them, the party will sanction you. So my advice to Star Oil is that going forward, I mean, lessons can be learned. Going forward, it's important for them to take cognizance of their association rules and regulations. But I'm much more concerned about what will benefit Ghanaians. And one thing that we must also understand in this country is that when prices of fuel go up, nobody blame OMC. The citizenry blame government. We've been in this country where fuel price becomes major campaign policies.
Yeah.
We hold gallon. I don't want to in the campaign platform. For Mutton is saying, and it is the government have a say.
Gallon has been sent to Parliament before.
Exactly. So you can't say, MP shouldn't. No. It's a governmental issue. And if we allow them, if we are happy because Star is saying that they can sell below, what if one day they say they want to sell higher? Is it that time that will now call on government to intervene? understand some filling stations now. When you go, they give breakfast.
Yeah.
And I think Gwel said their station at Amasama and they have started with Wache. So yesterday I said it somewhere that look, from the way things are going, by July they must add fufu and akple. But
would they serve that as breakfast or lunch?
No. But people might fall in the afternoon. But if you come in the morning and giving us Wache, then you should be able to give us akple. I like akple.
Okay.
So it should be by July. The way things are going with the by the reset agenda. By July, they should be able to give us lunch. But on a more serious note, I think that we shouldn't downplay the need for government to put in the floor price. Because just as it helps in terms of the minimum wage and all of that, it's important to protect other OMCs and the citizenry at large. Thank you.
Very well, very well. Elvis, final thoughts. 1 more minute on this and then we wrap it up and we'll move on.
Yeah, that's what I explained. Yeah. Say, today the consumer is happy because somebody says they could sell lower. But see, that is really the main issue about a free market economy.
Right.
It's about the factors should determine how it is sold. The only problem we have here is that when it is low, they are happy. We are happy. Yeah. Me, I'm happy. Everybody's happy when it's go down. But then when it goes high, as Wanda has said, now we turn our attention to government.
Yeah.
And they now want to attack government. Why are you allowing the people to sell? So it means that our own understanding of the free market economy is problematic.
True.
We only love the free market economy when prices are lower. But then when the same forces push the prices up, then we are angry.
Yeah.
But that is not how a free market economy works. It works that when it is lower, enjoy it. When it is higher, you pay for it painfully. But the question is, as a country, are we ready for that? Because these things come with consequences.
Yeah.
Because there are days and there are months, there are weeks. In the past 10 years, there are years that fuel prices just keep rising because of geopolitical tensions and issues around the world. And every day you wake up, the price of crude has gone up. And if you don't have a floor price, what it means that fuel stations can now change their prices every day. And people should cast their mind back. One of the reasons they voted against NPP was that during the 2023 when things were COVID and everything, one of the difficulties was the rising price of crude because the supply chain became a problem around the whole world. So oil was not getting to destination on time and crude started rising. Crude got even above $100. It got to a point because of the free market economy policy here, the OMCs were actually changing prices on daily basis. And people got angry and said, how can you wake up and the following day fuel prices have changed? It was one of the reasons they voted against the government. It's not government that is asking people to change it. It is the deregulation of the sector which says that now everybody is right to set their prices. But the consumer, because we do not have a clear understanding of the free market economy policy, now people got angry with the government. That why is it that now, is it because at the point, the policy was that the OMC should change price every 2 weeks. But when they got to that point, the OMC made the argument that government, we can't change price every 2 weeks when the prices are changing every day on the world market. Else, we'll make losses.
Right.
Unless government is willing to pay and the recoveries for them, then they have to, and the government at that time was broke. So government could not say, election is closer, so let me offer under recoveries and pay. So government said, there's nothing I can do. Just do what the law says. And then they kept changing prices every day. It's one of the reasons fuel prices rose to the point it got to, and everybody was angry. So we must understand that once we are all happy and want to enjoy the low prices, then we must be prepared and ready and not blame government. When the prices start skyrocketing and we allow the deregulations to work and we allow the OMCs to change price because we have also scrapped the price floors, which at that time will collapse a lot of the smaller companies, and now will be left with only a few who will now say, well, we control the market, it is deregulated market, government is not subsidizing, so now we will determine how much we want to sell. I hope that today that we are happy and supporting Star Oil argument because it's lower, we will not start crying and shouting at government when the price starts shooting up.
Very well. Honorable, final thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I think the position is clear. It is important that the state takes interest. The policy is engineered to protect the collective good. of both the other marketing companies, those who sell fuel, and then also the consumer. At times we can be enticed by some of these positions, but we should be guided that the overall effect for national development and stability is what is critical for us as a people. So I will still leave it as what it is. Let's keep to that policy. If there's a need to review it, there's a good reason why it was introduced. If there's a need to review it, let's bring all the argument to the table and let's see how sustainable it will be into the future. We need to educate the Ghanaian people to know the consequences of some of these decisions. When we're bringing deregulation, we provided arguments to support why we determine price. And today, that is why we are benefiting the regular review every 2 weeks to the prices of fuel and petroleum. If you had been in those time past, you could have had all these benefits going to the pockets of either those who are bringing it in or those who are selling, because once price is determined, it's as if it is fixed for a year. But now we have the opportunity to review it every 2 weeks. If dollar goes up, they bring the argument, it is revised, and so on and so forth. So let's stick to what it is, unless there's a compelling reason. But as I said, I don't think I'm persuaded by the argument made by Star Oil to get
the Energy
this.
Committee, which you sit on, should be concerned. Very interested.
Yeah, as I told you, it has come before us, but we are on recess. We had some committee meetings recently, and so I'm sure as we go back from the 3rd of February, we would be addressing some of these things frontally.
Council, there are those who argue that when this floor price mechanism was introduced, Star Oil was not that dominant player it is today. So if there was no mechanism as the floor price mechanism, and there were predatory pricing by some of the bigger players, then it couldn't have grown as it is now. So there should be room for others to grow.
Oh, I wouldn't even want to personalize in terms of targeting the company Star Oil. I'm looking at the broader picture. That my humble opinion is that we should not allow determination of fuel prices to be solely on the forces of demand and supply. Government has a major role to play. I mean, that is my view, and I say this forcefully, because like I indicated earlier, if you were to, let's say, take minimum wage for example, and you say that companies should pay based on their revenue, profit, and all of that, workers may be shortchanged in the long run. So there's always the need for government to intervene. And I've also said, we've supported that argument by saying that, look, even in Parliament, fuel gallons have appeared in Parliament. How did fuel gallons went to Parliament? They went there because fuel prices became a political issue, meaning there's a need for government to play a major role in the determination of fuel prices. We don't want to wait just to only be doing election time that you say, what's government doing, what's government not doing, and all of that. No, this is the time for government through the NPA to make sure that the floor price is in place, and by that, the other OMCs will also, their interests will be safeguarded, and it also help consumers. Today, it may appear as though consumers will be losing because Star Oil said that they can sell at a lesser price. But what about tomorrow? If Star Oil decides to sell higher, who would the consumers fall on? They will fall on government, which is why you need the floor price to maintain stability in the markets.
Very well. All right, let's move to the matter of Ken Ofori-Atta, Ghana's former finance minister, currently being held in detention in the U.S. His case was adjourned after a closed-door hearing. It's been adjourned to April 27. What was supposed to be an immigration case purely, it looks as though it's turning to an extradition case, because now the judge is requesting for proof of his extradition. Elvis, your thoughts on this? Because from what we have learned so far, his lawyers were there to seek bail for him. However, the state attorneys opposed the request and argued that Mr. Ofori-Atta should not be granted bail because Ghana had submitted an extradition request for him. So what would have been an immigration case looks as though it's leaning into the extradition a bit. Yeah, what do you make of this?
Of course, America as a country has the right to apply its laws to everybody as and when it deems it necessary. So the fact that you have an immigration case does not mean that other cases cannot be applied to you. I just read a case, somebody who is wanted for an immigration offense appeared in an immigration office looking for immigration benefits, and then he was arrested.
He's actually wanted for fraud offenses.
You understand?
I was trying to conceal it.
So there is an extradition order from the government of Ghana to the US that, please, we want you to send this person back because we feel as a country that the man doesn't want to return to this country, but we think that he has questions to answer for his tenure in office. And that battle was ongoing. Then, whatever happens, an immigration trap caught the man. And now he's gone to court. Now it becomes a grounds for everybody who is looking for Furiata one way or the other to also say there. So I'm sure that obviously the office that is responsible for the extradition, having the information that the order from Ghana, the man the order is, but they don't need to even go and struggle to look for him anymore. But
another arm has already picked him up.
So the best is to just present that request to the judge on that. And if that's the case, then really there is the issue has become more complex. It has become more complex because now you are not only fighting an immigration case, now you'll be fighting extradition as well. So I think that the lawyers have a whole lot of work to do. The lawyers really have a whole lot of work to do because once the judge is requesting for the extradition order, then they mean that the lawyers have to now also bring arguments as to why they think the extradition is out of order. And the judge will have to look at all the evidence that will be presented to back the case or not for the judge to decide whether Furiata should be brought back to Ghana or not. So I think that it also simplifies the whole issue because now once the court decides, the decision will be applicable to both cases, both the immigration and the extradition order. So I think it also simplifies the whole issue. So whatever the court says now becomes like, if the court says, okay, the man should be extradited, he will be extradited. If the court says, based on this ABCD, he doesn't believe the man should be extradited, it means that the extradition and the ICE deportation have also been put on hold. So I think that it also grants the Furiata and his lawyers the chance to have one judgment on both issues at the same time, which will now simplify their case. They don't need to go and be fighting the ICE deportation in one court and then be fighting the deportation in a different court. Since they have consolidated the case, the judge has consolidated the case. Obviously, the judge will become aware because probably the department that is supposed to do the extradition has informed the judge. I'm not sure the judge by his own made that decision because I'm not sure that he will even have an idea that the man is wanted for extradition because that's an immigration court. But the moment the judge did, that means that the department that is supposed to extradite him to Ghana has taken action and has taken steps and therefore decided that let's inform this judge that we are also seeking the same man to extradite to Ghana on ABCD and therefore look at both cases at the same time.
That was the argument of the state attorneys in opposition to the request for bail.
So it means that the state of America has decided that they will work on the extradition that Ghana is requesting. So it means that they have consolidated both cases for one judge to determine. I think that, you see, Kenneth Furiata will not be the first person to face any court in this country after tenure in office. And I think that all the people that have been arrested by Yoko and everybody has been granted bail. And now they are going to court to tell their story, right? And so I believe that no matter what fears he had, that ABCD, I think that with the benefit of hindsight, he's an individual, he has the right to take what decision he takes. It's a right for if he felt that coming to this country for him, he may not have a fair trial and whatever his decision is. The question is whether he's here or not, the case will still be tried.
Right.
And now that you are in all this problem, now if you are deported, unfortunately, you are not coming in on your own. You are coming in, excuse me to say, probably in chains like a criminal already. If the judge decides that you should be deported, you are coming in a different condition. We are in this country when the late Victor Selome and Kwame Pipra and Co, as former government officials, stood trial in this country. And the court made decisions and they went to jail, right? So I believe that with everything that has turned out, I am of the view that after whatever medical treatment and everything, it will be in his own interest to decide that, look, I want to go back to my country to go and actually fight my case.
Yeah.
Because see, the legacy Ofori-Atta has built all his life is now hinged on what will happen in the courts.
True.
If the court at the end of the day found him guilty, it means his entire legacy that he has built as an individual in his life now gets a criminal conviction and gets tainted in a way or the other. If he comes and he wins, and then that shows that indeed his fears that he's just being persecuted also be vindicated. So I believe that no matter what it is, as President Akufo-Addo said, he wants all his appointees to stay in this country
and
account for their stewardship.
True.
And I believe that when you serve a country and you are asked to come and account for a stewardship, I think it's just a normal thing for all of us to do.
Right.
So I believe that, yes, for me, from the one I had been an advocate that the OSP's earlier declaration of fugitive was totally wrong because the time limit, less than 1 month, you wrote to somebody, the person had left the jurisdiction before even your letter got to him, and you are aware of that, and less than 1 month, you declare him wanted. At that time, I believe strongly that the OSP was wrong, and I still believe that it is wrong that at that time, he declared him wanted.
Right.
For me, I disagree at that time. But I see, it's more than 1 year now. It's more than 1 year now. And with the turn of events in the U.S. now, the OSP will say that, I'm vindicated. And I think that these issues back and forth is, to me, it's not looking good for the Ofori-Atta legacy. And I believe that he has the power to, and has so many good lawyers, both in the U.S. and Ghana. Ghana here, the law firm that is represented, they are very good lawyers. And so far, they have even made arguments that ABC, they think even the charges that are filed, they think that some of the issues that have been raised, don't even see the legal basis for it. I think that it will be in his own interest that he will just decide to come to Ghana. But as somebody has said, now is the web of the law. He can't. He has even lost that right to say, on my own, I want to come to Ghana. Once you have been detained by ICE, and now that the extradition order too has been added to the 10, it means that you are going to return to Ghana by a court order if the court agrees with ICE and the extradition order, or you remain in the U.S. if the court decides that the ICE was wrong and that the extradition order to maybe the argument your lawyers have made against it are right and therefore stay in the U.S. But I think that whether he is extradited to Ghana or not, the OSP is already in court. The case will be determined. And it's the outcome of the case that will actually give somebody like me the greater view to see whether Ofori-Atta actually was running away from justice or was just being persecuted. As for now, the case is in court, no decision has been taken.
Right.
I am of the view that the earlier steps by the OSP, by declaring fugitive, were wrong because the time limit was so small. It was too early, premature for him to do that declaration at that time.
Well,
but I think with 1 year down, sure that I'll still hold the view that if today Ofori-Atta is still not coming together, I'll say the OSP, if today Ofori-Atta OSP decide to declare him that he's running away from justice, I will not hold the same view I held that. But at that time, he was wrong. I think that let's not also create the impression, see, because sometimes we also are not only dealing with Ghana. All these developments are also being seen by others in the world. The question, does the US see Ghana as a place that people will not get justice? Because if the US doesn't see Ghana as a place where you won't get justice, then probably the argument that you will be persecuted, they may not buy it. If they believe that law and order works in Ghana, Ghana courts actually deliver justice. No system is 100% accurate, but with the benefit of the doubt and in terms of the weight, they believe that anyone can get a fair trial in a Ghanaian system. Then the argument of I'm being persecuted, the US system will not buy it. They are here, the embassy is here, they file reports every day. So whatever the view they have of our judicial system, they already have it. So it will also inform their decision on whether the extradition order should be accepted.
Ken Ofori-Atta, mind you, he also filed for a review of his status in the US. Yes, so how does it all play out?
You know, we've had this conversation for a long time, and issues had initially been whether, like Elvis said, the declaration of him as a fugitive of justice, and the fact that even the state at the time needed him, as in the OSP, needed him for investigative purposes, and whether the actions that were being taken then were reasonable and rational. With all the stories that we learned at the time, he left Ghana on notice to government then that he was going for medical attention. And so it was very clear at the time he was leaving Ghana that he was going to US for medical attention. And when there was a need for him to come and answer whether at the time all the excuses that were being given, I'm using the word excuse advisedly, saying that he had to do some reviews and all of that, whether they were really justifiable. Now development suggests that he had overstayed his visa, and so either now his stay in America is illegal, or his application to review his status made him still a legal resident of America. So his arrest by ICE at the time needed a determination by the court whether his status in America at the time of his arrest was legal or not. And that issue was what was before the judge. Now, when he appeared in virtual, because he had applied to be heard virtually, and the court agreed to his lawyer's request. The defense, the prosecutors laid a claim before the judge that there was an extradition request from Ghana. And so they needed the court, and before the judge, there was an application for bail. So the application before the court was for bail. And then the state argued against the bail based on their information or their notice to the court that there was an extradition request from Ghana against Ken Ofori-Atta. And the judge was not seized with the document calling for his extradition. And so the court was very hesitant to even make a determination on the matter. So the adjournment to April is to allow the prosecution to provide all the needed documents so the court can then make some determinations on the bail application. So even coming back in April is to determine whether Ken Ofori-Atta would be granted bail before all the other nitty-gritties would be determined. Now, if you come to Ghana, we have an interest because we all know that there's been investigations against certain government officials, including Ken Ofori-Atta as it is today. And the call has been for him to come and answer questions. We've moved one case, or the state has moved one case through the OSP to prosecution. And so every Ghanaian is interested in bringing Ken Ofori-Atta for him to come and stand trial. Rightly so, because we have always maintained, and I've maintained, that everybody who serves in the state capacity ought to be accountable and be available to account for your stewardship. And so that impression being created that Ken Ofori-Atta is running away from justice is where I normally have the concern that the state itself, the way we positioned our discourse around Ken Ofori-Atta might have given that negative impression that he was being persecuted. And if you are not sure as an individual that if I come back to my country, I will not get fair trial, then you have to stay back and put your act together before. Why? When Sedinam Tamaklu went to America and she was being prosecuted, why didn't she come? Because she feared that maybe, just maybe, she might be persecuted or would be witch hunted by the state. And so as a country, we need to divulge our state apparatus, investigative bodies, prosecution cases, judicial matters from political discourse. So that, as Elvis was trying to suggest, international bodies, countries can have confidence in the institutions of state. I have confidence in the institutions of state. I believe that when Ken Ofori-Atta comes to Ghana today, he would have all the needed legal services, one of the best in Ghana he can acquire, to prosecute his interest. But the state actors, the utterances from the government and their appointees should not create that impression that we need, because the pressure on government, and I mean the NDC government, has been, you people, you are there when MPP comes to power. Look, they've jailed Victor Salome, they've jailed Kwame Pepra, they've jailed blah, blah, blah. You people, they come and go, you don't jail them. So they want to show that at least we've also been able to jail somebody. That is the political interest. Ken Ofori-Atta or any other person will be asking, am I the one that's going to be used as that scapegoat? You know. But in America today, it is a case that is before a judge. A judge who doesn't have any interest. All his interest is to serve justice. So we await the determination of the court. And I believe we as a country should send that reassuring signal. You see, when you have an AG or a government in power, the language of the government should be reassuring. You know, to my people, that please, anybody that comes before us would be given a fair hearing. Will be given fair opportunities. Last time, I will end very soon. You know, look at even the bail conditions that we have discussed. You know, as if we are using bail as a punitive means to keep people behind bars. So we need to change that narrative and posture. But I believe Ken Ofori-Atta would and definitely be available to stand trial if he's being tried, and then would also defend himself.
Thank you, Honorable. Wanda, I'll be coming to you shortly, but I need to take a quick break at this point, so please bear with me. I'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll hear from Wanda on this matter. Send us your messages. Let us know your thoughts, your comments, and your contributions to the various issues. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. We're having the news review segment. We're discussing the matter of Ken Ofori-Atta, his immigration case vis-a-vis the request by the state of Ghana or the government of Ghana for him to be extradited back into the country. A few quick messages and then I go to lawyer Wanda. This one is from Mystic Wanda Avuko inside Nsawam Aduajuri, and he says Ken Ofori-Atta aka 720 gave pensioners a wicked haircut, mismanaged the economy catastrophically, and now running away from accountability. He should come back home and account to the good people of Ghana. The NPP is simply suffering from credibility and leadership crisis. Ghana is working again under the tried and tested president, John Mahama. This one says, hi, why is Ken Ofori-Atta matters worse for the NPP? He must show concern in the future of the party, therefore come down voluntarily to face the law, hence stop being selfish. On the so-called sacking of Honorable Ablakwa and Victor Smith, I beg to differ, because those instigating this action, what was their scorecard in their 8 years rule? This is from Papa Bisu from Spintex in Accra. Right, Council, let me come to you. You have done some immigration work, so... And you have a book actually on immigration. So you walk us through this particular Ken Ofori-Atta case.
Basically, on the immigration aspect, it's important to know the difference between a visa and a status.
Okay.
I mean, when this issue started, I heard a lot of stuff on social media and stuff. I was just quiet. As somebody who practices immigration, some of the argument that comes surprises me. Just by way of education. You can have a valid visa in the US and still be illegally present in the US.
Right.
So, for example, you have a 5 years US visa and you're admitted into the US. It doesn't mean that you stay in the US for 5 years.
Right.
at the point of entry, you are given your status. So if you enter on a B1, B2 visa, you will normally be given a 6-month status.
Right.
So if you are admitted into the US with a 5-year visa, even though your visa is valid for 5 years, if you stay for more than the status given you for more than 6 months, you will have been out of status. Okay. And when we say in immigration law, when we say you are out of status, it means you are illegally present in that country.
Okay.
Conversely, you may have a 1-month visa. There was a time that a restriction was imposed on Ghana, and persons connected to government were given 1-month visas. You may have a 1-month visa, and you'll be admitted to the US and be given a 6-month status.
Okay.
So you will be in the US, your visa will have expired, but you are legally present in the US.
Based on the status you've been given.
Thank you. So there's a need to distinguish it, and which is why, you know, when we entered law school, we saw a lot of books on criminal law, contract law, but there's no book on immigration and stuff. So I took it upon myself.
Right.
I've written a book on immigration.
Okay.
Which will be launching it on March 13th.
Okay.
I was privileged. The book was forwarded by Professor Larry Di Matteo. He taught me at the University of Florida. And His Lordship, Justice Yunde Kulindi.
Right.
The Supreme Court charge.
Right.
So they forwarded the book, and we'll be launching it on March 13th.
March 13th.
Yes, and that's my birthday too.
Oh,
Yes,
you chose your birthday to launch your book.
Of course, now. That's
So on the day you were born, you are also giving birth to a book.
Yes,
Possible.
correct one.
So
That's
basically,
nice. We look forward to it.
yeah,
we look forward to
so
it.
that's so we discussed, and now it wasn't pleasant for me to discuss a former finance minister in that light, but we discussed it under the revocation of visa category.
Oh,
We
so
just
it's captured in your book.
Oh yeah, we stated just the fact under the revocation because his visa was revoked.
Right.
Anyway, and in fact, if we move to the immigration aspect, he had filed for an adjustment of status.
Right.
We also discussed it. Adjustment of status from a non-immigrant status to an immigrant status.
Okay. Okay.
So he had filed. So that was what led to his detention. He had filed for an adjustment of status from a non-immigrant status to what? An immigrant status.
Right.
Which we call green card. Because
Okay.
when it's approved, the color of the card given to you is green.
It's green.
That's why it's called green card. Now, in assessing your application for the adjustment, in assessing the application, your circumstances is considered, including your circumstance at your home country.
Okay. So all these play out.
Exactly. That's what I'm coming to. Why? I mean, we've all humiliated. Like when I was schooling in the US, I was attached to a law firm in New York. So we file for people. So it's normal for people to file for adjustment of status. Some will even overstay their visa, they'll go and do some marriage and file. It's normal. But why is Ken's own in the limelight? Because whether we like it or not, this is a former finance minister.
Yeah.
He supervised the taxpayers' money. In fact, for the first time, he's the only minister that his own MPs wanted him out of office. That's how serious the matter is. I'm happy my senior advisor, he's a very objective MP. His own MPs said no, he cannot manage the economy. We cannot continue allowing him to manage the purse of this country. His own MPs, MPP MPs, around 88 of them or so, wanted him out of office. But his cousin, the president, kept him in office. And look, talking about perception, persecution, this man left the country even before NDC took over. These are facts. He left this country before January 7th. Why? Is this not a country?
But he wasn't well.
That he left after.
No, I'm saying this for he left before January 7th.
I think he left, came back, and left again.
Yes, but the last,
Yeah.
when he was last leaving, his letter that was addressed to the chief of staff, it was Callistus who was the chief of staff. So please, secretary, yes. So check that. So when he last left this country, the NDC were in power.
More importantly, the point I'm making is that Ghana's constitution provides for fair trial under Article 19. It's kind of only even former finance minister, even other than MPP. The Honorable Yaws Afmafo is still in this country. He's been finance minister before. There are lots of people who go to court.
But one that may be right, because the letter addressed chief of staff is 2nd January. 2nd January, and they have not been sworn
I'm
in
saying
there.
for a fact that Ken left this country before 7th January. I'm saying that for a fact.
He wrote the letter dated to chief of staff is 2nd January, and he said he will be
The OSPC was helpless.
for medical checkup from the 4th to 28th of January. That is what the
So 2nd January.
Yes, he
Yeah,
left
that's
before
before the
what
swearing.
letter-
He left before the transition period ended.
Right.
He left this country. In any case, our constitution provides for fair trial. Who to me today is in court. Look, when Wintumi leaves court every day, he doesn't speak again. And either clocky. That's what Wintumi does now.
What does that even mean?
He's so free that when he leaves court, on Kasabi clocky. That's what Wintumi does now. So this is a serious matter. And this is somebody who has money, taxpayers' money. Leave the country. You remember when this parliament, at the early stages of this parliament, one of the issues in parliament was his return date.
Yeah.
It was an issue in parliament. I will check the parliamentary answer. I'm sure, I'm happy other MPs here. It was an issue in parliament. The minority leader said, oh, the man has given a date that he's coming. Why won't you wait? It was discussed in parliament, on the floor of parliament. We have gone past that date. The man is not here. In fact, when ICE, for people who don't know, ICE basically means U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. If ICE detain you, they will give a brief about your health. All this is discussing. Ken Ofori-Atta has been deemed to be medically fit to be in detention. As far as ICE is concerned, Ken Ofori-Atta has been medically fit to be in detention. But what have we been told all these months? Why? Look, it is in their own interest for members of the MPP to call for him to come back. I ask myself, would the MPP as a political party has the moral right to go to the people of Ghana to call for accountability? You know, normally opposition parties, what you do normally across the world is to call for accountability, responsible governance and all of that. On the back of these facts, would the MPP have the moral right and courage?
But the party has been very categorical in not saying that Ken Ofori-Atta shouldn't make himself available. I think nowhere has the MPP defended his non-coming to Ghana. So we have always spoken for accountability in terms of governance. And as Elvis said about even the former president comment on this. So we stand vehemently on this position. And so going to the people for accountability is not an issue.
So it's refreshing that the MPP stands with government, that there's a need for Ken to come to Ghana. So Ken will do the MPP more good.
There's a need for accountability.
Exactly.
But we already started accountability. As you mentioned, would to be at the rest. People are being, we have other government
So which is why I'm surprised.
We should just isolate Ken Ofori-Atta's matter from the MPP as a council that is
so which is why I'm surprised. Which is why I'm surprised. Senior has said that. Are we using him as a scapegoat? Sort of. Because people are standing trial, like here, I just alluded to. Also, I was surprised when he said that. He also said that, look, it's a political discourse. For Christ's sake, this is a former finance minister. I've just told you that there are a lot of people who have applied for adjustment of status. We also have what we call change of status. You can change from a non-immigrant status to another non-immigrant status.
Okay.
So you can go there as a tourist. You get there, you say, no, you want to school. You cannot use your B1, B2 visa or status to study in the US. You need an F1 visa and status to study. So whilst in the US, you can decide to change. They are all non-immigrants. You can decide to change. You're not adjusting to an immigrant.
You are changing.
Yes, from a non-immigrant to another non-immigrant, but a different category. It's done all over. But the only reason why we are concerned about that of Ken is because this is somebody who supervises our taxes that we paid in this country. That's why we are concerned. Do you realize that Arise Ghana were at the embassy?
They're still there. They're still there for 14 years.
That's right. Was on a sister station, and one of the organizers, Prince Eric KJ, one of the arguments that he made, they said, look, World Cup is near, and people want to go and watch matches. They need visas. Ken Ofori-Atta has not shown good example. For him to have overstayed or having his visa revoked may have some effects on those who will be applying for the visas. In immigration law, that we know that perception is key because your intention is ascertained by several circumstances, including the document you present, the state of your economy, and all of that. So, if a former finance minister can decide to be in the US and not to come back home, how much more somebody who is in some corner somewhere and wants to say he's going to work
every day? People go and come back. Every day people go and come back. When you take visa every day, go and come back.
No, I'm just telling you. So, if Ken.
I don't think his absence has any implication on my application for a visa.
Come on.
I'm not talking about yours. I'm telling you that. You see, There's something called the Australia.
Small politics. He's trying to migrate from politics into the thing.
No, you see, there are some clients that when you go for, when they come for assessment, and they tell you, oh, we just want to travel to Canada or US for as a tourist or vacation. You ask them, it's only Australia, the Australians that you see them with their bag, travelers, and say they are just traveling for vacation.
Yeah.
In Nigeria or a Ghanaian, do we just easily travel for vacation? No, that's a perception. You can't take this out. So they look at the economy of your country and all of that. So bottom line is that Arise Ghana is making an argument that look, it may affect those who want to go for World Cup. As to whether that is true or not, it's a different discussion. But the point I'm making on the most serious is that Ken Ofori-Atta manage and supervise the taxpayers' money. So his application in the US to adjust his status for him to become a permanent resident of the US, Ghanaians, it was proper for us to take interest in it. And now it's clear that there is an extradition request on him. So it's only proper. And in immigration law, once a final deportation order is issued, he will be on the next flight to Accra, Ghana. Thank you.
Right. Does he have an option to choose which country he's deported to?
Oh, I don't think he would have any difficulty coming to Ghana. And as I said, it's unfortunate these developments have come. And it is also good because at the end of the day, all Ghanaians and everybody wants to see is that Ken Ofori-Atta is in Ghana. When he comes to Ghana, if the state is interested in prosecuting him, he would be available. If he has to stand trial, he would be able to stand trial, and then we take it up from there. So I don't think there's any justification or reason to doubt that his whether he's going to be extradited or he will come willingly. Definitely, he would be in this country to stand trial.
Okay, just a minute on this. So we'll do some MPP politics.
Yeah, the point is that you see, even the status he's applying to from yesterday. No Ghanaian can apply for it anymore because we are on the list of those who have been blacklisted for applying for immigrant visas to the United States. So if that Ofori-Atta's application is not yet processed, I don't know whether because he applies earlier or because the ban, we are now on the ban, then it will also affect him. And we must understand that this Trump administration, they don't have time for a lot of things. Especially if they are supposed to deport, we ask for that one. They are happy because it's one of their major campaign policies. And for them, they are happy to deport people to fulfill their campaign promise to their electorate.
Right.
The Ofori-Atta issue is not going to affect anybody's visa to the World Cup because even as at yesterday, the U.S. Embassy has announced that they have actually expanded their services so that they can process visas for
World Cup.
Those who are going to the World Cup. I just think that it's unfortunate that Ken found himself in this situation because this is a man who has built a reputation for himself as an investment banker, a credible one, not only in Ghana but across the globe, and is able to facilitate borrowing for Ghana, whether under an NDC or NPP government. You are looking for a firm that supports Ghana to go out there in the international market to borrow. Ken and Data Bank is the most reliable we have done in this country from Rawlings era to today. We have always used Data Bank, which was built by Ken. So he's really built a reputation and a legacy for himself and became a finance minister for almost 8 years. And even after being removed as finance, he was made a senior presidential advisor. So if you look at his personal, what he has done for himself in life is big. It's just unfortunate that he found himself in a situation like this where he's in detention in the U.S. for immigration and then extradition is also on his head. It's quite unfortunate. This has a serious balance on all that he has done in his life, especially the outcome, because I'm just sitting here imagining that the court orders that Ken Ofori-Atta should be deported. It means that he's coming to come in maybe with chains and things on his leg and his hands to Ghana.
But when he gets here, is he being
straight handed over to security services? It is not, if you are deported, you will be handed over to security services straight, and when they take you, they are going to take you straight to detention.
Of course, you can file for bail as well.
You can file
if you file for bail, that means it will be granted. If the U.S. which is deporting you decide that you should be deported, if you get here, you will be given to security. You'll be given to security services, and then The school services, if you apply for bail, what is the guarantee that you'll be granted that bail? When already the OSP is looking for him. So I just think that it's unfortunate, but that does not negate the fact that if the country feel that there are questions for him to answer in terms of accountability, he shouldn't answer it. As you remember Napoa said, he has been to NIB and the rest several times on issues of accountability, and he said it clearly that if you serve in government and you are asked to come and account for your stewardship,
just go and account.
Just go and account. So for me, I think that those around you should let him understand.
This one says, good morning, KOA. As we always knew in Ghana, he never played with his all-white outfits back in the days, which I thought he used that to symbolize a genuine, affable, and transparent minister. So what's keeping him from coming to defend his competency while in government? Well, his recent all-black outfit on camera in the court hearing should inform us that back then in Ghana, he was only a black sheep in a white cloth. No angel in this world, though. Good morning from Alonso.
That what he was wearing is the state
dress. It's a uniform.
That he chose to wear that.
He didn't choose it.
People must be given that education.
Anyways, let's get into the NPP flag bearer race. Aspirants have intensified campaigns. Today, you're signing a peace pact. Honorable, you are a member of the election committee of the party. So walk us through what will happen today.
Yeah, so today we call it a stakeholder engagement, out of which we would have the memorandum of understanding signed amongst the aspirants. This is a fallout of an extensive work done in preparation for our 31st January elections. And so far, all preparations have gone very well from the committee's point of view. We've extensively engaged all the aspirants and their representatives at every step on the way in the development of the album for the elections. They've been with us. In terms of security, they've been involved. The Electoral Commission, who is going to supervise, they've been part and parcel of it. And so if you check the general rendition and statement, you will hear from them that this is one of the elections that we are going in with a lot of transparency and fairness. And there's not been any instance where any aspirant has made a public call for him being cheated or anticipating any cheating because of the way and manner we've managed the process as a committee. And so today we would have the former presidents present. We would have the National Peace Council. They offered to be part of the program, and so we've given them that assurance to be present. We would have the Council of Elders of our party represented. All the aspirants will be there. And then we all engage. We're going to give them an opportunity to tell us if, as at now, there are any lingering questions. There's anything. About 3 days ago, we met the police hierarchy led by the IGP and the deputy commissioners of the EC. Before that, we had already met the EC chief and people to discuss all things. We just want to assure our people that security will be very, very strong. We just don't want to take things for granted, whereby people may want to mar the elections that we're going to do. So no bodyguard, no machoism will be entertained in and around the voting centers. And so we look forward to a very successful process. We've been a bit concerned about one or two comments or statements by either followers of aspirants amongst others. It is to be heard or seen in any political environment, particularly when you're moving into the wire. You expect a lot of heat to come, and that is where cool heads have to prevail. Because at the end of the day, it is the MPP. You know, we are contesting, or they are contesting to lead the MPP, not themselves. And so the elephant, the symbol, is what we are looking at. Will this election give us the unity we deserve? Will it give us the oneness? Will it give us the credibility as a party in waiting, as a government in waiting? And so what happens on 31st and beyond, between now and 31st, is going to send a signal to the good people of Ghana that we are ready as a political party to take over the reins of government. irrespective of the gains that they've made. I say that we don't come into government praying that somebody should fail.
True.
You come into government with superior ideas to do better than what is there. And so if they show us 9.5 and $12 to 12 cedis to $1, it is all good for now. We pray that it continues so that when we can bring it to 4 cedis.
Very well. Thank you. Wanda, I saw the smile on your face when he said government in waiting, but please just wish them well.
How do you want them to wish them well?
Wish them well.
Before we even talk about their primaries, I want to say clearly that the MPP, in my view, is not a party that we can call government in waiting. They are rather a party that is seeking survival in opposition. Because look,
you've been there before.
I'm saying it here.
It's a cycle. I'm saying it like that.
So I'm saying that the MPP enjoy. I'm saying it here that the MPP is not a party that we can classify as a government in waiting, but rather opposition party seeking survival, even in opposition. Now, I mean, for me, under the Fourth Republic, it's always good to have a strong opposition party. So it is on this basis that I pray that they go to the election peacefully. Peacefully. From what I'm hearing.
From where?
From what I'm hearing.
What are you hearing and from where? What are you hearing and from where?
31st day, just next week.
Yes.
We are all here.
Okay.
And I won't be surprised that whoever emerges as their flag bearer will pick Keno Forata as running mate. Oh, they believe in Keno Forata. And I was the finance minister. They believe he did well.
You just told us that about 88 MPs wanted him out.
They said, oh, but some still want, like, they will pick him as running mate. But we are here. I'm telling you, they will pick Keno Forata as running mate. The MPP.
Wanda, thank you. Quick thoughts on MPP and its primary.
No, I think politicians will always want to do the optics that everything is right.
Which
but
matters
within
in politics.
But within, they know things are not right. Did you monitor social media this from the weekend to now? They are supporters. While they say the leaders should come and sign peace pact. Have you monitored what the politicians are doing? They are supporters that were doing on social media to the extent of even leveling accusations of murder and against whoever they consider as opponent in this whole thing. And I ask myself, so the leaders will go and sign a peace pact, but the people who support them, they are at each other's throat and neck. And that is one thing we should be able to resolve in our politics. The leaders have a different mindset, but their supporters have a different mindset. But you, the one on social media fight, when the power comes, you may not even be near power.
Indeed.
Your preferred candidate may win, but you, when they get the power, you may not even be near anywhere the power. So I don't understand why the downtrodden who will not get any close to power are the ones who will be at each other's neck. When these people, after they finish, the losers will now go and negotiate. And they'll be part of the campaign. And when the party comes to power, they'll get big contracts after they fought each other. They will still get good positions. And you, the one fighting down there, you will be there. Nobody knows you. So sometimes I just wish that the parties can make more effort. Though this is now good for the optics, within the things that are happening among their supporters, it's despicable, and we must be able to tell them that they should be able to educate their supporters and say, if you believe in your candidate, emulate the lifestyle of your candidate, emulate the messages your candidate is sending out, market your candidate. My candidate is the one who can do A, B, C, D. Attacking the opponent is not what people are going to vote for. It is the qualities of your candidate that you market that will make people vote for your candidate.
Elvis, thank you. Gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been good. It's been a pleasure sitting with you. This has been the News Review segment here on Breakfast Daily. I am Nanatufo Boateng. Please don't go away. The show continues with Philip and Chris after this.